hopefully we won't lose signal again, because we are currently, guess what? I'm so excited. So for this live, you get to see what we are going to go see on our relocation tour in October. So check this out. We're heading down to the beach. We just left Huayua, and we're almost to Noisaco, and we are heading down the Ruta de las Flores. And this whole weekend I have been scoping out for our tour that is coming up, finding the perfect eco hotel, eco farm to go and visit. And so many cool projects are going on. In fact, we just passed Casa Conejo, which is Murph's life. If you've seen, there's been a lot of publicity recently about Murph's life, about how he is constructing a boutique eco hotel up here in Huayua, and how it's going to be so cool. He's got lots of, just a wide variety of plants and trees that he's planting, and his boutique hotel is going to be really cool. It's going to have saunas and little cabañas and awesome stuff in it. So, and that's a little bit about what this relocation tour is going to center around a little bit, is about sustainable living. And that's a hot topic right now. In fact, because I don't know if you guys knew, but have you guys heard about the bill that Canada is passing? It's kind of like a little bit of a Trojan horse, because Canada and Trudeau is about to pass this bill that will give the government power to seize all like food production lines and facilities. So in other words, like pretty much you're not going to be allowed to produce your own meat, which is what it comes down to. I mean, you can all look it up. It's all over the internet. But this, inside of this kind of consolidation of power, it's going to give the government power to say, like, no, you can't raise your own chickens, you can't have your own cattle. It's called like a pre-pandemic plan, or they're preparing for the next pandemic and giving themselves the ability to seize any livestock and animals that they can see fit to seize. And that is, it's crazy, because I know a lot of Canadians are calling me up. A lot of Canadians are, hi Brenda, a lot of Canadians are kind of, they've been flocking down here. There's been a lot of new Canadian move-ins, and they're kind of afraid of what's been going on in their own country and all the freedoms and liberties and rights that the government is taking unto itself and taking away from its citizens. And so I'd say more than anybody else, probably the top immigrant right now to El Salvador is diaspora, which are Salvadorans that moved out that are moving back. But the second one, honestly, it's probably Canadians. And third, I'd say, is Bitcoiners and people from the States, because lots of people from the States are kind of in that same vein of, they're like, this is crazy. I've lived in the States all my life, but the things that are happening and some of the way the culture has changed, even though I know it's home, it doesn't feel like home anymore. And so a lot of people are kind of looking for a place that has those same principles, because dirt is dirt. You know, there's dirt all over the world. You can live anywhere all over the world. You could come down to Mexico, you could go to Panama, you could go anywhere. But it's the principles and the laws that give people their rights and freedoms that kind of tells you what you can do with that dirt, how you can live, just like this law that's being passed in Canada about them being able to seize supply and food chains. Hello, that's them telling you whether you can have a farm, whether you can farm your own animals or not. And so anyway, so as like the modern world, the first world as we call it, is kind of clamping down more and more on the people and telling them what they can and can't say, what they can and can't do with their money. I know in June, Canada also put forth a law that says if you move out of Canada, you don't get to take your money with you. It's this big, massive tax of like $25,000 if you are leaving Canada. And again, it's with people seeing governments step their bounds and losing a lot of common sense, and they're seeing El Salvador, which is technically third or second world, adopting the principles of liberty and kind of moving the opposite direction of giving their people more opportunity, more freedom. People are making the switch. It's just what it is. So that is why. But moving to another country, it's a massive life change. It is a big life change. Like, I mean, you rank it up there. I think it was ranked, I saw it on a list, it was ranked like number 5 on major life changes that create stress and that are difficult to go through. Like number 1 was like divorce and death, and or death of a loved one. Another one was divorce. Another one was I think it was getting married and like moving out of your house, kind of becoming an adult, right? Or moving far away. But moving to another country is above moving out of your own house, because you are having to deal with a whole nother culture, a whole nother language. It's a big, massive change, and it's expensive too. And so, yeah. And so anyway, so that's why I created these relocation tours. And, Brenda chimed in. She said, you will also lose 20% off our old age pension if you leave Canada. So that's what I mean. Canada is really making some pretty drastic, kind of socialistic, you could say, steps. And that's why the people are kind of freaking out and flocking down here. So that's why I created these tours, because you can sit there and say like, oh, you can visit El Salvador, but tourism is so different from living in a place. Think about where you live. If someone comes to visit your place, where do you go? You take them to, oh, look at this fun place. Let's go to this fun park. Let's go to this really cool, swimming hole or drop off, or let's go play at the beach. But when it comes to your daily, day in and day out of living there, it's totally different. It's completely different. And so I created these tours because I've had clients in the past come down that I have hosted and helped to move here, and they kind of bought on the hype. They're like, oh, Bitcoin, freedom, yeah, I can do whatever I want. And they saw all the hype and all the change, and they jumped. But then after they got here, they said, oh, no. Like, there's a few things they were expecting would be like it was at home, and it's not here. And so some of them, they've had to adjust massively, or some of them have actually moved back to where they came from. And that's kind of what these tours are meant for. They're meant for you to come down and get immersed in the culture, to see what it's like to actually live in El Salvador as a local. That's the name of the channel, Living Like a Local. And so that's the point of this. And most of our people come from countries, and they come kind of thinking about it. They've read a lot of stuff. They've looked all over the internet. They've watched lots of videos, and they're about like 20-30% sure, like, okay, I think Salvador would be a good place for me. After this tour, stop wasting your time. Stop scrolling through videos. Come on the tour and get her done. Come on this tour, because after this tour, you will leave. All the clients that I've taken on this tour, they leave after the tour a 90% surety. Yes, El Salvador is for me. Or no, I need to go look at maybe Mexico or Portugal or some other place. But, and that is why this tour is so worth it. Because think about it, with the way things are going and with the elections and other things that are happening, do you want to spend another 2-3 months scrolling around, sitting in doubt, doing your own little due diligence? Or do you want to jump in and know for sure so you can make a decision and move forward? Because it's that drag time and that lack of decision that really kicks you in the butt in the end. Just saying. So this next tour is I'm super excited for this next tour. Okay, because President Bukele is promoting and he is inviting and encouraging Salvadoreños to plant, to start to produce, to take what you have, what tiny little dirt, even if you don't have a little piece of dirt, go grab a piece of trash or a plastic carton, poke some holes in the bottom, throw some dirt in it, and plant and produce your own fruits and vegetables. And he's opening up all these agromercados, which are like farmers markets all over the country, for people to produce their own stuff and then bring it to the agromercado and then trade and buy and eat more healthy, eat more organically. Because honestly, most of the stuff that's made down here is not, the people they don't spend money on like fertilizers and a whole lot of pesticide spray. I mean, most people all the time will just sit there and throw up a table on the side of the road and put out the stuff that they've grown on their trees. And it's awesome. I love it. I love it because you can stop and get some nance. You can stop and, sorry, we're going through a really rough road. And here's your live from El Salvador, by the way. What town are we in? Is this Sonsonate?
No,
this is Wayua. Okay. So this is Wayua. We're heading down to Sonsonate. But here, I mean, like the whole thing of I've got to search out and hunt down and then pay super expensive prices for organic produce. That's not really, I mean, a thing here unless you're like in the city. Like in the country, lots of people would produce a lot of their own produce. I mean, you can still get a lot of our food comes from Guatemala, and a lot of our beef and stuff comes from Nicaragua. But this whole kind of revolution, it's part of a health revolution too, of just getting the people healthier and getting them producing and just living more and taking care of themselves. It's awesome. So this tour is going to be all about sustainable living. Oh, thank you in the comments. Hi, Evangelina. Let's see. Unfortunately, more and more people are looking at communism. Yeah. And guys, this is not the first round. People have been on this rock for a long time, and they have tried lots of things. And if you don't study and learn about history and learn about the things that other people have tried, then you will repeat it, thinking, hey, this looks like a good idea. Yeah. You might want to study other people and not try and reinvent the wheel. Just saying. Rafael. Yes, ma'am. Hello, Rafael. True story, Jen. Take the tour. See, Brenda's on here in the comments. She was on our last tour and she had a great time. And she found out by the end of her tour, she knew for sure. And she went back to Canada because she had to go back for work. But she is wrapping up and doing the things she needs to do to make her jump, because she found out that El Salvador really was the place that God was leading her life to. And that's the other thing that I have to say particularly I really like. Here, God is still a 3-letter word. It's not a 4-letter word. Because here people truly have respect for faith. They have respect for things that are still sacred. And it's a very much a conservative country. If you go to the beach or you go to springs or lakes, a lot of people will still swim in like a t-shirt and shorts, more so than going out and, buying a bathing suit. And part of it is just because, why buy a bathing suit? You have to buy in a whole extra article of clothes. And part of the people do it just because, hello, it's more modest and they feel more comfortable. And hello, when you're swimming, it should be about being comfortable. It should be about having fun. It shouldn't necessarily be about, showing off your bod, regardless of if you got a great one or not. And yeah, that's just how this society is. And that's one of the reasons why I love it, is there's still respect for others' opinions, and that if you have a different opinion from somebody else, cool, you do you, but not in a you do you, but I'm going to judge you silently the entire time. It's you do you, that's your choice. I'm going to keep on living joyfully, and I'm going to let you live joyfully. But there are underlying principles that govern our society that you don't do if you're doing you. So that's the other thing. Okay, next say, informen si está lluvioso por ese lado. Acá en Salvador, lloviendo al sur. Yeah, Ernesto, está lloviendo aquí. Estoy en Huayua y ha estado lloviendo desde, I think, 2. So it's part of the rainy season in El Salvador. The rainy season goes from May all the way to October. And that means every afternoon out here, you get a rain shower, which is typical of tropical weather. I grew up in Florida. Every afternoon, like clockwork, 3 o'clock, I had to run home from school. If not, I got stuck in a rainstorm. Just saying. Oh, there's our wonderful security guys. Hopefully you guys saw them. And that's just it. If you're a gringo and you see all these military guys and these guys with big guns standing around, and you could kind of get freaked out because you're not used to seeing that. But honey, that's why it's so safe here, because we love those guys. Those guys on the corner, we give them high fives. We're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you see in one of my old videos, look down through my old videos, I do the Independence Day video. You will see the military does a parade all the way through town, and people come up and they literally hug the military soldiers and the policemen that are on their bikes, because they're so appreciative that they're there, taking away the bad guys, making sure people behave themselves, because for so many years in El Salvador, people didn't. So, and here we are in Salcoatitan, and that is their famous museum. It's a printing museum that shows you some of the first, I guess, printers and printer press that were here. And here is the 2 Catholic churches that are right next to each other, that are kind of makes you think, why in the world did you put 2 churches right next to each other? But Salcoatitan is known for its mosaics. That's every one of the cities in Ruta de las Flores has some art form that is kind of its specialty. And here is mosaics. So this is a newly renovated plaza that looks gorgeous. Isn't that fun? So if you come on the relocation tour that's happening, I have the one on sustainable living is happening October 14th. And then the one, if you're looking about bringing your family down, I have a family tour November 2nd. And then also Thanksgiving. I have a feeling after the elections, a lot of people are going to be looking more and more into more options about where to live that fit better with their values. And so I'm sacrificing my Thanksgiving and holding a tour that week so you can come down and see if El Salvador is for you. Some of the biggest things you need to know and understand about whether El Salvador is for you is, if you're a gringo and you're from up north, you gotta lose your entitlement. If you haven't seen it already, watch President Bukele's United Nations speech that he gave like last week. It will tell you a lot about El Salvador, its direction, and how it's different from first world. And one of the biggest things about coming down here is it's not your lap of luxury. You're gonna be kind of a pioneer. This isn't Costa Rica, this isn't Panama that have little expat gringo bubbles that you get to live in and keep speaking English. No, you need to learn Spanish. But you have humble people. You don't have a ton of stuff. There's no Amazon Prime. But you have amazing opportunities, abilities, amazing ways to serve. The people are so excited to start, living, to start realizing their dreams that they never could have imagined that they could actually have in life. And now, like, put it this way, illegal immigration, I just saw the statistic, illegal immigration from El Salvador has gone down 30%, over 30% in the last year. Whereas all the other countries, been about the same or more. Thank you to our super slippery borders in the US. So, just saying. And it's because people here have hope. They're excited for their future. And that's just the vibe. It's the vibe of empowerment. Speaking of that, food sovereignty. So, this relocation tour, what's going to happen? The focus is going to be about sustainable living. So we're going to visit a lot of really cool eco projects. We're going to see vertical farming because this is a small country. So you got to do what you can with what you got. So we're going to see some aquaponic projects. We're going to see different houses. I mean, this is about living here. This isn't about, tourism and let's go see a waterfall. No, this is about, we're going to visit different types of houses so you can see the houses are built here. Because there's some things that you think is a staple up north, that ain't a staple down here, honey. When it doesn't really get below, 70, maybe 65, you don't need big closets for all your winter clothes and your summer clothes. So a lot of times you have to buy a wardrobe for your bedroom because a built-in closet isn't always a given. And let's see, another thing is, in some places, like if you live down the beach, a lot of places don't have hot water. And I know you're like, what? No hot water, I'm gonna freeze. But okay, think about it for a second though. If you are outside swimming and you go underneath your little pool shower, you're not freezing. Why? Because there's no AC. You don't have a dehumidifier. Now it's out cold. And you want to see the beautiful Ruta de las Flores? Everything is so green and lush. That's why I love the rainy season. It's gorgeous. And El Salvador has great roads. Check this out. If you've ever gone through Central America, Costa Rica has decent roads, and El Salvador has good roads. Guatemala roads, Honduras road, Mexico it's the topes. They have speed bumps and the túmulos and the topes. There's those speed bumps that they have at like crazy random times. You're going 60 down a highway and all of a sudden you launch off this speed bump. And yeah, it's a little insane. Nicaragua has really good highways. They have some pretty beautiful roads. Nicaragua is a very beautiful country. But El Salvador has great roads. You can totally appreciate that one. Let's see what else. Oh, hi Herman. Let's see. Saludos desde California. You miss El Salvador. I understand. You're in California. California is a perfect example of a place where we have a lot of clients coming down here from California because of the change of the laws and some of the crackdown and how expensive it is and how the government is kind of overstepping its bounds. That after California passed the law saying that if you don't, your kid wanting to change genders, you could possibly lose custody of your child. And a lot of people, even Elon Musk, had a reaction about that and said, okay, that's it, I'm out. Because it really blurs the line between a government's power versus your own personal freedom. So yeah, so we've had a lot of Californians come down here. So let's see, are you planning more collabs with Mom Expat or Murph's Life? Well, I am Murph's Life. We are my tours, my relocation tour that I'm doing in October, and the relocation tour that I'm doing for over Thanksgiving. We're going to come up and we're going to see Murph's Life, his organic farm, and eco hotel that he is making up here in Los Naranjos. We're gonna visit them and see them. And Mom Expat, you mean the expat mom, Carol? Oh, Carol's awesome. Is that at the end of this? Did I lose you guys again? And parts of that conference too. And we're the biggest expert I know in all of El Salvador when it comes to sustainable living, eco living. He actually helped build an eco village called Rancho Tortuga in Ecuador that has the living swimming pools. It had the grass roofs. It had bamboo construction, bio construction. We're going to see some bio construction on the tour. It's just, I'm so excited. So anyway, we're going to see some permaculture, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's it. So the first day we have this open mercado where I have a seed exchange. The next 2 days they have workshops, and Juan and I will translate the conference, the Food Sovereignty Conference, which is called Soberanía Alimentaria. We're going to translate for a few of those workshops, but we're also going to go visit a few organic sustainability projects all around there while we're going, and we're visiting the mercados. We're visiting what it's like to shop down here, what it's like to really live down here, because that's the point of this tour, is for you to know for sure to go from 20 to 30 to maybe El Salvador to 90% of yes El Salvador or no El Salvador. And what people usually like to do is after they'll come down and they'll go on our tour, and we show them lots of different, we dive in, we'll show you beach, we show you mountains, we show you city life, what it's like, we show you what the food is like, we dive all in, and the tour is all inclusive. So you don't have to do anything except for just think and be about, okay, what could my future look like here in this country? So the tour is all inclusive, and we cover the hotels, we cover the driving, we cover the food, all the meals, all the activities and tours we go on. We're going to go on a coffee farm tour because the coffee in El Salvador is amazing. And so there's lots of coffee production places and coffee farms all over the place, and some of the best restaurants are on the coffee farms too. Oh, here, look at this. We're in Nisauco, and Nisauco is known for its wood. See all the wood pieces? They're over there. Anyway, so they make lots of beautiful wood furniture here in Nisauco. But anyway, so that's the tour. And then the last day, we're gonna take you. Actually, I'm not gonna spill the beans. You gotta come on the tour to see, because the last day for our big final finale is the best day of all, because this tour is also about, with El Salvador, it's not just about whether El Salvador is right for you, but it's also if you are right for El Salvador. Because we're not going to become the next Dubai. That is not the president's vision. That's not what Salvadoreños want. They don't want to become Dubai. They want to become the best El Salvador. It's not just, oh, you have lots of money, come move to El Salvador. No. It's about, what are you coming here for? What are you here to give? So, and let me answer the rest. Hi, Bastian. Okay, will I be doing tours next February? Yes, I will be doing tours in February, but the momentum is moving fast. So, and as things, it's just basic supply and demand. And that is, as more people, ooh, look at this. You guys gonna see? This beautiful furniture. Isn't this awesome? All natural. So cool. Anyway, as more and more people come and get interested in El Salvador, there's lots of construction going on, but it's supply and demand. It's a small country. It's the size of Delaware, okay? So don't wait too long. Just saying. Let's see. Hi, saludos. Hola, hey, Luis. How's it going, man? Let's see. P.S. Your stream is cutting in and out a lot, so you may not be able to hear all the answers. I know. There's not anything I can do about that. I'm going down Ruta de las Flores as we speak, and the signal goes in and out. There's not a lot I can do about that. Just hang in there. I'm almost down. We're in the last town before we hit Sonsonate, and then the signal should be fine. Okay. Hey, Luis, I'm doing awesome. I'm doing a relocation tour. Are you from? Where?
The last one.
I don't know. Hermoso. Thank you. Let's see. Hello from the biggest little city in the world. We want to come back home. Glad to see we are in great company with y'all. We want the simple life. Thank you, Jen. Hey, Alan, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad you want to come back. Make sure, diaspora, if there's any diaspora that are watching, diaspora, make sure you bring back, and I know this is a lot for me to say since I'm a gringa and I'm not even technically 100% Salvadoran yet. But diaspora, make sure you come back with the good things that you have experienced and learned being outside of El Salvador, and maybe leave behind some of the toxic things of the first world. Just saying, because I've seen some diaspora come back and buy up big old blocks of houses and then try and charge crazy, insane prices that local Salvadorans can't pay. And some of that toxic commercialism, kind of toxic capitalism of more, I need to get more, make more money. Just make sure you check that, because the Salvadorans that have stayed and that have been here and that have gone through, you know what they've gone through. They need opportunities like the opportunities you had in the States. They need opportunities not to make minimum wage. They need opportunities to grow and to level up and to move up like you did in the U.S. Think of that first guy that gave you a job when you got there, whether you had papers or not. You know, the chance he gave you to work hard, to get paid good, so that you could move in your skill level, that you could move up and save and make even your own business and get to the point where you are now. Come down here, remember that. Bring those good parts of the North with you. Give Salvadorans that have stayed here those kind of opportunities to move up, not opportunities to barely get by on minimum wage, but opportunities to up-level their skills, maybe becas or opportunities to, get more education, opportunities to make more money, save, buy their own houses, become more sovereign and independent like you have been blessed. Just saying. Let's see. Encontré una novia para tu esposa. What? I don't know. I don't understand what that means. Encontré una novia para tu esposo. I don't understand that. Anyway, hi. Have you been in La Union? Yes, I have been in La Union, but my relocation tour, this one is not going to La Union because most of the sustainable living, most of the eco farms are in the west and in the center. Okay, it's 30 minutes. I think that's it. If you have any other questions, you can email them. Go to the website, or email them in to info@livinglikealocal.com. There's no G. There's no G in living. So yeah, make sure it's living without the G. That's it. Para que te permiso. What?
He's saying
I don't
that
know
he
what you're
found
talking
me
about.
a girl so you can have another boy.
Oh, really? I'll have to ask my husband if he's cool with you finding him a girlfriend. Anyway, no problem, TT. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you next week, 4 o'clock here, El Salvador time. I am Jenny Adi, shining my light so you can shine yours. And go to the website, livinglikealocal.com, so you can check out the upcoming relocation tours and find the one that will answer the most of your questions and best fit your situation. From Ruta de las Flores, Noisauco, going down to Sonsonate.
We are in Sonsonate now.
El Salvador. Have a great domingo. Bye-bye.